idea that someone was able to wear this all day and then forget about it means we had something that was kind of invisible. And so we started to celebrate that. We started talking about what does invisible look like when that's something you wear all day, and what kind of material should this be? If it's really about invisible, because when we made the foam prototypes, there was no weight there. It was super light, almost too light. And so then you have the challenge of, well, I've got this really lightweight product. What do I do with that? Because it turns out when you give it to somebody, they're like, well, it feels kind of insubstantial. You want me to pay how much for this? And so weight becomes something you have to consider. The psychology of weight, conveys value. So these are all things that have to be considered. But we wanted to have that lightweight factor. We wanted it to be, easy to collapse and put in your pocket. It was kind of a nice to have initially, and then we realized that was sort of more fundamental to the experience later. In terms of conveying durability. And again, if you're giving somebody something like this product, you have to realize people treat their devices with kid gloves. So the reason there's a case market at all for the iPhone, I suspect, in many ways, and I'm sure people would disagree with me, but there's the idea you want to preserve this device. You have a very expensive, premium, beautiful object with sharp edges, a glass front and back. Remember the iPhone 4, right? Glass everywhere. People were having all these shattered patterns. Some people actually embraced it and made it a design thing. You're like, hey, check out the back of my phone, look what I did. The rest of the people want to protect that investment. And so if you make a headphone too fragile looking, too beautiful, then you have something that they're not going to actually take with them all day. So we realized that was key to getting the adoption phase. Somebody puts it in their purse, they never have to worry about it. Then they start to fall in love with it. It's like a well-worn, old vintage camera made out of metal. You don't care when there's a couple nicks on it. You just love it that much. We knew really early on that we didn't want a lot of buttons on the device, because the problem that we saw with a lot of these other things is you're just trying to, replicate what's in my phone already. I've got all these music controls, volume controls, and all these different things. And we realized you're looking at this as a shortcut. And so it's sort of the same problem I have with some of the current, the smart watches and things like that, is when you try to just duplicate the phone, what are you actually gaining, other than another set of interfaces? So if you can improve upon that or do something unique in that place, why not do that? Why not improve upon that experience? So for us, it was about simplification. What can we take out? What are the buttons I actually only need if I'm rushing to get to BART train and is it volume? Is it I want to get to my next track because I've got a long walk to work and I'm kind of foggy this morning and I'm searching for that right track to get my day started, to clear that fog and get excited about going to work on Monday morning. Those are the things that you want to focus on from the experience, not having 10 different buttons. And the other thing is just the hours of video and camera footage that we had. We kind of went back through that later and studied that. And you're just watching people as they're wearing it, what they're doing with their hands, and you're like, okay, I'm not seeing where those controls are located. I can't feel them right now on a lot of the other devices. So you've got to make that tactile. You've got to make it intuitive, and it's invisible to them. So if you have a set of buttons here, a set of buttons here, a set of buttons in the back, it gets really confusing really quickly, and it's a bad experience.